here going forward. Looks like Rumble Live maybe might have their stuff together, so I might be trying to do some lives from there. I got some time off coming up at work. I got to get some oral surgery though, so I don't know how much I'll be able to do, but we'll see. But I'm gonna keep it in mind. But between the YouTube, Rumble, and X, I'd like to float over to X and Rumble on more of this stuff. That way, I know that I'm not going to be censored. It seems like they've lifted the censorship just a tad on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure the SmackDown is coming back hard once they get their feet underneath them, because they're talking about, so they gotta get that one under control somehow. But I was just listening to a little snippet of a dealio here, and I was just thinking I've probably meant to say this in some videos before, but here we go anyways. So I guess the Oath Keepers. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before, but I guess like Oath Keepers got pardoned, but they didn't, or they got commuted, but they didn't get pardoned. So they were able to like get out of prison or get out of jail or whatever, but the stuff is still stuck to their record. A lot of these guys, I guess, are veterans, so they don't get their benefit, they don't get their bennies, they probably lose their gun rights, all that kind of stuff because of this. And so I always thought it was crazy, even go back all the way to the Bundy days, right, when they were handing out cards, Oath Keepers. And this is my thinking, and maybe it upsets some people or whatever, but I just keeps it real, man. That's all I try to do, is just keeps it real. And I'm not gonna be on here that long. I just want to get this little out here. I think it's the craziest thing that like these guys who were either ex-military, I guess ex-law enforcement, whatever, that they were basically going to partner with law enforcement or ex-military or whatever the situation is, and they were going to somehow get a pass, almost like, right? Like they were going to get a pass because they were, Oath Keeper aligned, or they were aligned with the other Oath Keepers, the, I guess, active duty Oath Keepers, current law enforcement. Mostly just law enforcement. I don't think this really applies to military members, but yeah, good observation, man. This guy's bald. I'm totally going the wrong way. But I just think it's crazy because these people, they identify and they, I'm going to stop at a couple of these places. I got to get turned around. They identify with to have law enforcement prosecute them, and then even, not be able to get their sentences pardoned because they are part of those groups. So it's ironic in a shitty way that guys that got out of the military or got out of being police, I guess, decided to join like right, and then be sized and sing the oaths. So I thought to myself, with a group of ex-cops, I mean, ex-military, sure, like, I don't know, playing softball and shit, I guess, I don't know, but, I don't know, but I'm definitely not linking up with old cops and hanging out in a group with old cops, because once cops are cops, anybody who's not a cop, I think, will have this same agreement for the most part. Once a cop, it's kind of like once you're in the CIA or FBI or whatever, dude, you're in for life. There is no point where you get out of that. So even back then, way back then, 12 years ago, it was not entertaining. It was not entertaining. It wasn't attractive at all to hang out with a bunch of ex-cops, for a lot of reasons. But That's just a fraternity I'm not part of, and I don't want to be part of. And so, you tend to think that those people will still have those views and still kind of have, the way they see the world. And so to hang out with a bunch of people and in your off time, this group, I'm not against it. I'm not screaming from the hilltops to be against it, but who would have fucking thought that their own people, what up, Landrew? Who would have thought that, that their own people, cops, law enforcement, FBI, CIA would be the people that prosecute the Oath Keepers. And then, when everybody else gets pardoned, they get commuted sentences. So it's still on their record. And it's just ironic in the worst kind of ways, like those are your own people. Those are your own, team blue. Enforcement. They will eat their own if they have to. They usually don't like to eat their own. They stick together like a gang. But if they have to, if the need shall arise, they will cannibalize their own. And they will discard them. And I don't know what Stuart Rhodes was. I think he was in the military then. He became a cop. I don't know. I had to look and see. But it's neither here nor there. If you're going to be ex-law enforcement viewed by the government as anti-government, that's the craziest thing, isn't it? That the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, I can't speak for the Proud Boys, a bunch of people in it, but I don't know nothing about it enough about it, because those guys were heavily recruiting back retarded. Dang it, I just passed this place up again. It would recruit for a group like that. It seems like a very big chance to be in a group full of feds, like at least when you go to the American Legion or something, you're going there with like vets from foreign wars and shit like that, and you guys got a little in common. You guys are like talking about cool stuff, but you're like not talking about that one time when you pulled somebody over and planted dope on them. It's just a shake in my head moment. They're talking about it on the radio right now, so that's why I thought about it. But it's a real shake in my head moment that people that were ex-cops would dedicate their after they retire, after their career's over, whatever, they would, these guys are right here. See my competition. It's crazy that they would spend their after time, their after hours curricular, whatever, activities trying to be a group that, vouches for the oath. And then they would get done dirty like that by their very own government and very own brothers and sisters in law enforcement. And so I just thought that it's just kind of ridiculous. And I think I've maybe made this video before. Maybe I haven't. I don't know. But what a punch in the gut, man. What a punch in the gut that, you'd be a cop, whatever, and then, like, you'd get out, you wouldn't be a cop no more, and then you're like, man, let's make this group where, like, it's a bunch of ex-cops and militaries where we uphold our oath, right? And then, like, you go to different things, you go to protests and stuff, and we've seen Oath Keepers at protests, and they go to protests, and then they get hauled off to federal prison. Whether it was Stuart Rhodes or whether it was Joe Biggs with the Proud Boys, but it's just, man, it's like when taking the king's coin really comes back to bite you in the butt, that's for sure. So I just thought it was something very obvious that I needed to point out, that at no time when you work for the king do you get a pass. That's why, like, everybody that thinks that communism is going to be so awesome and different in the future than all the last times that we did communism around the world,